Hey, what's up, what's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood. And are you... What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360 the Poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7. On hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Yeah. Jones. Hey. Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey. If you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You wanna be a broker, you wanna be broke. You wanna be the joker, you wanna be the joker. You gotta bring more to the table than your hope, dreams and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.
All right, Las Vegas, good afternoon. Greg Deville back in the studio once again, sharing more great information with you. Today, our discussion is going to talk about the importance of your credit. That's right, we're going into 2025. We got a playbook. We're going to start with our credit. Let's get that on track. Let's get that in focus. I'm excited to be here on this Wednesday afternoon, and I have a friend with me today, been knowing Mike for quite some time, and Mike is running the operation of Community Credit Repair, and so we want to talk to you this morning, and Mike, I want to welcome you to the show this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Greg.
I appreciate you, man. He took time out of his day to talk to my audience. The Wealth Builder Podcast, radio talk show with Greg Deville. This is what we talk. Every week, Mike, we talk about building wealth and creating ways to build wealth. We want to talk about how there are a lot of ways that you can do wealth. Today, one of the avenues we want to discuss with all of you is credit. Mike, you know, we talked a little bit behind the scenes this morning about how to build your credit. What should we do? How important is having good credit?
Well, I think having good credit is probably the most important thing that you can do right now, especially if you're trying to build wealth and to leverage your money. I actually just finished a conference, and the conference we actually talked about is how to get approved every time.
Okay.
So today, I really like to talk about preparing to getting approved every time. So I think it's super important that we're always getting prepared.
Yeah.
Keeping an eye on our credit.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the value that comes behind that, lower interest rates.
Mm-hmm. Very much. Yep.
You've talked to, I've learned already this morning that you can get to homes with no money down.
Yeah.
With the right credit score.
I
didn't even know that.
Yeah. And you fix credit for it.
Right. That's all I do. I just fix credit. So here's the benefit. I guess you tell me what score that they have to get to. You say it's a 640. I think that's magical. And
so when you talk about getting to that 640, so I was speaking to someone and they were saying, well, I'm just going to dispute everything. Mike, can you explain this disputing that everybody seems to do, that they could just dispute everything?
Man, I can answer that so many different ways. Okay, let's talk about disputing. I think obtaining your credit first is the most important thing. Mm-hmm. But yes, if you want to dispute everything negative, that's not a problem. You can dispute items that are negative on your credit report, but expect other than everything you see on YouTube and TikTok, that after you dispute it, those items are probably going to stay on there. They're probably going to say, so if you owe the money, we need to actually move to a different step. We want to reach out to the company that has that debt,
right,
and work out a deal with them, and we want to work on getting that debt deleted.
There you go.
We want to get it deleted.
Good stuff. Now, so when we reach out to the company, so if I'm understanding this correctly, companies buy debt.
Correct.
Right? So the big boy you finance with, he wrote the debt off. So he sells it to the third management company who buys it maybe 10 cents on a dollar. Am I saying that correctly?
Okay.
10 cents on a dollar. Now they're contacting the debtor, right? Which is the consumer, saying, consumer, you owe me $1,200. Well, we don't owe him the $1,200. He bought the paper, right?
Right.
So, but we can work out a plan, right? In many cases, that can pay it off. Can you go a little bit more detail?
That's correct. So here again, so we're going to look at. I see a lot online right now. They're telling us not to pay third parties. They're using this new code UCC 100. There's no reason to pay these debts or medical debts. Again, I want to tell you that information is incorrect. So back to answering your question.
Yeah,
we want to reach out to this collection company, this third party debtor.
Yeah.
We can work out a plan with them to pay pennies on the dollar. And I mean pennies.
Yeah.
We pay this account back at 25, 30 cents on the dollar, and then we get it removed from the credit report. The way I like to look at it is we went out shopping. Maybe we spent 10 grand and we paid back 2 grand. We got the 80% off sale.
See?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to pay our debt.
Yeah.
So
can you say that again? Say that again.
It's okay to pay our debt. So,
okay.
So I had a customer ask me yesterday. He goes, Mike, I just saw online it says I should pay the debt off in full. It's going to help my credit score out more. And he asked me again, Mike, I need that. Should I pay the debt off in full? It's going to help my credit score more. So to that, I'm going to answer the question. No, it doesn't help. You do not have to pay the debt off in full. It's okay to pay less and have the debt paid. Here's the only difference. It'll show up on your credit report as paid for less, paid settlement, paid charge off. But the common ground here is it says paid.
Okay.
Computer scoring systems don't actually look at letters or words on a credit report and give you a score. The account shows paid. So I'm good for paying for less and then paying for deletion.
Okay. That's good. So the operative word is paid.
We want to get the debt paid.
Want to get the debt paid. And I always like to say, you know what? We made the debt. Why is it that we run from the debt? We charge up a credit card and we say, credit man says I want my money. But as soon as somebody owes us, oops, I won't go there. But we fall out with people because they owe us. But the guy we use the credit card, and that's a tough conversation for people to have. Well, I don't know why, Mike, but they excuse themselves once we use the credit card for paying it back. But as you state, let's pay it back. Let's work pennies on the dollar. So in many cases, because we're coming up on holiday season right now, and so people charge up their credit cards, you know, whatever's left on there, because they want to have a wonderful Christmas. And they say, I'll deal with it in January. Well, some people are still dealing with throughout the year trying to get that debt done.
Right.
And so now they're falling more and more behind. And so we talk about a 640 minimum, Mike, when someone's looking to purchase with no money down. Right. So, and for those of you that are listening, you want to get more information, you want to contact 702-349-0162. Greg Deville with Deville Realty Group. We'll get you set up with Mike. We just got to do an application with you to see where you are. We'll get you set with a lender, find out what your scores look like so you know what the challenge. We got a playbook for 2025. We do. In the real estate, we have a playbook for 2025. We want you in the book. We want to have you prepared for homeownership, creating wealth through equity, because as I mentioned before, many of you are creating wealth right now and you're doing it for someone else. So I want to make sure that you understand it's your season. People say, well, I've been praying for a blessing. And you say, God, I'm waiting you to do it. And he's like, I'm waiting on you. You just got to talk to Mike. Let's get your credit where it needs to be. Because another thing, Mike, people have a 401k on their job.
Okay.
They only need a 580 credit score to use their 401k. Wow. And so people sit there with 200, 100,000 in their 401 and they say, but my score isn't. Again, you can utilize those funds without penalty. So the 401k on a norm, if someone were to use it, they're charged up to a 10% penalty. Versus for purchasing a home, there's no penalty. So it's just moving your money from being housed over here to the home, right? So we could take that, and many people say, I didn't know that. And that's why our radio show is so valuable for these past going on 9 years radio, is to empower the community to know if, and veterans, Mike, I could get veterans approved at a 580. One lender said I can do it at a 560, Deville. And we've done them. We have to do rental history, of course, right? Rental karma to kind of prove that they pay their rent on time. But the VA really backs them, you know. But again, so as we're getting a head start in 2025, Mike, another thing I want to ask you about as far as your credit. So contacting, what's a time frame, or does it depend on how much debt? How does that look? What does that look like?
Everyone's debt's a little bit different. So we do offer free consultation. We're here in Las Vegas. That's how you met me years ago. We have an office at Sahara and Jones. I can say this, though. The fastest way to lower your credit score is to get a lot of new debt. But also the fastest way we want to raise your credit score is we can pay down our credit cards. So we can come to the holidays. Yeah. These holidays can be detrimental to our credit score. We want to be careful. You brought up, then we pay it back in the first quarter. Other than 2024, it's the first quarter we didn't pay debt down in America. It's the first time in 22 years since we've been keeping track, debt didn't get paid down. Wow. So you want to watch what we do over the next 6-7 weeks. Okay. We want to put a budget out there. Yeah. We want to watch our spending. Be careful of, going to stores and applying for a bunch of new credit cards and taking those cards on, that new debt on. Right. Really put a budget together first before you go out there. Yeah. Because you're going to pay.
That 20% off that people do for Macy's when you walk in the door, if you just apply, that becomes an inquiry. Are inquiries negatively showing on people's credit report?
So inquiries will lower your credit score. And it's kind of funny. The higher your credit score, the more it'll affect it. So if you're a 740, you actually may see 10 or 12 points. If you're a 620, you may only see 2 or 3 points. We actually help remove inquiries at our office, and we usually do that pretty quick, 3-4 weeks. We remove them, and I'll even throw out a price. I charge $20 to remove an inquiry. So we're very fair pricing. Yeah, we try to help a lot of people, and we try to help a lot of people. That's our goal. Yeah,
and that's the reason for the show today, everyone, is to make you aware of there are avenues out there that you can get back on track. And I'm big, Mike. Every year, November, December, I'm talking credit. Because that's what we need to deal with. We want to see the kids. And as a real estate broker, I want to see you get home ownership. And I was telling someone last evening, I said, this year, tell the kids we're not wasting on gifts. I said, if that means you can't put up a Christmas tree because they want all these presents underneath, then don't put up a tree. Make a commitment that I'm going to get a home this year. I'm going to stop paying these landlords. And what are landlords doing? They're selling these homes. And you know why they're selling? Because you've paid down the principal, right? On their homes. So I sell a lot of homes where people are refinanced the home and they go buy another home and they rent it to you to pay it off. Now you've been renting 5 or 6, 7 years. You've gained them great equity. I just recently sold a home and they had $280,000 in equity, and they live in a home that was just from a rental, the rental. Right. And so sometimes we're not aware of what we're doing until we sit at a table in a studio and talk about, let's get your credit ready. We talk about the fourth quarter. Games are won in the fourth, the last few minutes. Well, we don't want to wait to the last few minutes. Let's get a game plan for 2025. Let's get a playbook for 2025. What are you going to do different this year at the end of the 24 to bring in your 25? You're going to contact Deville Realty Group. We're going to set you with Mike so you can get a head start. That money you're going to buy on a next PlayStation 5 because he got a 4. Mom, I want a 5. He might need to keep the 4 for another year, right? Yeah.
He just may.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you're working hard every day to do what? Pay somebody's mortgage, right? I'm your tenant, but I'm paying your mortgage. So what's hindering many individuals, Mike, from really proceeding forward is a credit score. Even to get rental. I heard a rental property management wanted a 640 for rental.
You know what? Your scores have to be just as high to get a rental, it seems, nowadays, too. Especially if you nice house, turned down all the time.
Yeah. So when I tell you, I could sell your home at a 580 with a 401k, but if you go rent, You need a 640. Where's the logic?
Right.
It only makes sense, right? And so that's what the show is about. So again, those of you who are listening, or you know someone who this may help. Maybe you have nieces and nephews, and credit is a challenge. How do we deal with people who've had repos, Mike? How does that work? What is that like?
How about this? Never scared of a repo on a credit report. Usually because, let's say once again, this is something that could be settled debt. I've settled here. Most repos can be settled at 10 cents on the dollar. I've settled a repo at $0.
Oh, wow.
Crazy as it sounds, we don't want to hide from these companies. We want to reach out to them. We want to talk to them.
Yeah.
I can show you $300-$400 credit cards that turn into $1,500 court cases that get judgment, and then the next thing you know, before you even know it, they've taken 25% of your wages, and this debt's almost paid off before you can do anything. So we really want to get ahead of these.
Yeah.
We want to get to what you're saying. We want to get to know our credit.
Right.
We want to see our credit. You should know what's on there. You should be making a plan and making sure these people aren't going to catch you and you're not going to get a lawsuit.
Yeah, yeah. And wage garnishments. Wow. Can you imagine? They get theirs before you get yours. But you've been doing the work.
Right.
You've been fighting traffic every morning. You know, shout out to the moms who get up in the morning, get the kids ready for school, get them ready, get the breakfast done, get them to school on time, and then make it to work on time. And then they come home and do it all over again. Do you know my biggest percentage of buyers in real estate are women? Well, they seem to be a little more responsible. I understand what happens with the brothers is we go out on the weekends. We love to impress the ladies. So we pay for everything, right? We got to buy the food, the drinks, pay to get in wherever we're going. If there's a cause, there's a concert. We go to the concert. After the concert, she wants to eat. At dinner, she wants to have a glass of wine. So we pay for everything. So sometimes the men... And someone said, my engineer says, as you should. But we've got to take a time out from investing in the things that don't gain value. Sure, you may get to know a nice young lady, right? But you can't do it every weekend. And then you got bad credit. So the money that you've used to entertain could have paid something, down. Is that right?
That's correct. I want to talk about this a little bit more, right?
Go ahead.
So I see couples, and couples have changed, or young couples have changed, and it seems like there's more separation of income. They have different ideas on budget.
Yeah.
It's time to sit and talk with each other, and we want to have a game plan, and we want to start having the same goals and saving money together. Because just because maybe one of them makes a little bit more, doesn't mean you have to spend all that. You have to maybe save a little bit more, part of the team. So yeah, you got to get the other person. We both got to get on the same playbook.
So you got a couple. Her credit's great. His credit sucks, or vice versa. He's responsible and she loves shoes, right? Or purses, or what have you, whatever that might be. That that thing that makes you shop.
Right.
I think if we talk about having investments, I like the term residual income. So people do say they own a home today. They can't get the equity out of the home because their credit score has to be a 680 or better. And so I have people who are in default. There are foreclosures that I have sold homes that I gave one lady maybe a year and a half ago $146,000 equity. Because her score, she got a 30-day late on her mortgage, so nobody would give her a home equity line of credit. So again, we're talking about homeowners who credit just isn't where it needs to be. They need that 680, but again, they could buy themselves out of trouble if they could just access the funds that are there. So again, Mike working with, and we like to call him Magic Mike because he works magic. Very important.
I want to say this. So, and mistakes happen.
Yeah.
Well, lates on homes happen all the time.
Yeah.
So I've seen people, especially if you've talked to your mortgage company and you've asked for a couple payments to be moved towards the end.
Yeah.
I've seen many mistakes like that where they start reporting people late when there's a deal in place.
Yeah.
Those can be fixed. Those can be updated. You see that on car loans. There's lates that get reported. Those can be updated to current status. So that's why it's really important to have a monitoring site, keeping an eye on your credit, making sure those things aren't happening. And we want to get those removed. We want these to go to the current status.
Right. Right.
So that doesn't happen, because it's amazing how many people have equity and they can't pull a HELOC out.
Yeah.
They can't buy a rental property and earn residual income. which is huge.
And again, so we want to talk about helping families there as well. When we talk again, the credit, to get your credit where it needs to be with getting some of the money out of there, utilizing for residual income. I'm meeting a lot of families with a ton of equity and said, man, if I could only. So what happens, Mike, is they try to do a modification. But unfortunately, you have to be in default. And it's sad that you have to be in default to get assistance in a modification of your mortgage. Meaning they'll put it on the rear of the loan, but you got to be, and I'm not ashamed to say I had some 2023 has been quite challenging. So I've had to request for the modification. Say, well, Mr. Deville, you look fine right now. You're current on your mortgage. Everything's fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm like, yeah, I'm current this month. Next month's going to be a little tougher. The deal fell apart. So I'm giving you heads up. They said, well, once you get behind, let us know. And I said, well, how far you got to be behind? He says, a couple months. So now you got 2 30-day lates on your report.
So, man, the most backwards credit system we could possibly have.
Yeah.
When you need help, they won't give it to you.
Yeah.
You actually have to be late.
Yeah.
So I don't have a good response to that because most modifications I see don't happen like that. Mm-hmm. But I guess with that bank it did. I will bring up credit cards, though.
Okay.
Credit card companies will say that to you. There's no help until you go late. I do want to tell our listeners that is not true. We can lower interest rates while you're still current on your credit cards. We can lower interest rates to 2-3%, sometimes 1% while you're still current.
Okay.
Okay. So these things can be done. Most credit card companies will not tell you that. So you can still maintain your credit.
Okay.
Back to that housing one. That's a new one for me. So you know what? I'm never too young to keep learning. So
yeah. Well, that's what
always keep learning.
Yeah, that's what we're finding with the modification. And I personally had to go through that to do the modification. I was granted the modification, which worked out great. On track now, everything's great. However, there was a question addressed. Now, they have a credit card, and they're saying that the credit card balance is high, right? In fact, they're over the balance. They owe more than the card was initially for. And they're saying it's going against the ratio of the card. And so now the DTI is high. Should they pay the card a lump sum, pay the card off, take the money? I think it's somewhere of maybe $1,200. Just pay the card off or just keep letting it report for revolving credit.
So when it comes to credit cards, as we start hitting these levels at 50%, 60%, 80% of the limit, you're watching your score slowly drop. You can see yourself drop to a 660, 640.
Yeah.
The second you go over, you have $1,000 credit card and you hit $1,004.
Yeah.
Watch the fastest 40-point drop in your credit score hit. So back to the question, revolving credit. I don't like paying interest personally.
Right.
I like to pay off the credit cards. Obviously, online, everyone talks about 30%. Keep the cards under 30. That's a great number. 20% is good. 10% is better. And the word revolving, it's going to revolve if you owe $1 or $0. So it'll still revolve the next month and show a zero balance. So if you don't use a card 1 month, because I hear this too, Mike, we got to use the credit. We got to use it. This is how I was told how to use it. And this is what I should do to use it. You know what? Step one, you just need to have a credit card. It's one of the most important things to maintaining a higher credit score. Secondly, is then learning how to use that card. It's not important to spend money right away. I know a lot of people, we talk about it. You don't have to spend money each month on that credit card. You just have to have one, though.
Have to have one and making those payments.
Well, you just have to have a credit card. We can get into the intricacies of it, but just having a credit card on your credit report is a huge deal to your credit score.
And even if you're making a minimal payment, it's still showing that it's not a 30-day late.
So we can talk about 30 days. You know, you can be late up to 29 days on anything on your credit report, and they cannot legally report you 30 days. Internally, they're not going to like you. Internally, they're probably going to keep notes that you're a slow pay. They're going to charge you extra fees. You're probably going to go to a rate of 29% on a credit card. And to give you an idea what 29% is on a $10,000 loan, it's $300 a month that a lot of us don't have. So it's important. I know my credit card debt can get crazy. So we want to watch our credit card debt. Rates are high right now. I think the national average, we're at 25%. I was telling you, we're at $1.17 trillion and growing in credit card debt. We're we're just now getting ready to hit the holidays.
Yeah. And people are living off their credit cards.
And you know what? If we had good credit, I've seen people do that.
Yeah.
The good credit gave them the ability to live off their credit cards while they had a tough time in life. Maybe there was 3-4 months, something medically happened.
Yeah.
Something maybe happened to a significant other
Okay.
temporarily.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's okay to bounce back. You know what? You had that good credit for a reason. It was something to lean back on. So that's another good reason to have good credit.
So I have a friend who wants to pay off a credit card. Lack of names, but they want to pay off the credit card. And I'm thinking, so you pay off this credit card, and now they reduce the card, access to $300, but you just gave them $1,100. Is that good to pay that credit card off with the $1,100? That's a balance on it, or can I just keep making payments and use the 11 to make payments on other cards? Or would you advise me to pay that card with the $1,100? I'm borrowing money to pay the card. So I'm getting in a debt to get out of debt. Is that advisable? Or should I just make the monthly payment? What's advised?
That's a question I would individually. So again, you can call my office. We can sit and chat. Consultations are free.
Yeah.
I would look at how many credit cards somebody can manage. Some people, can manage 10, 12, 15 cards. Some people can't manage 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But back to your question, sure, we got this good credit. We're 760 now. I can get a $10,000 0% credit card. Do I take that 0% to pay off the other credit cards? Well, I'm going to tell you yes. But let's have a 12-month plan how we're going to save this money up so we don't pay interest 1 year from now when that credit card's due. So we can't keep getting 0%, 0%, 0%. But, when you need to, that's what the credit's there for. You should get it if you have a good reason to utilize it and save some money.
So your credit is challenged and you're thinking about paying this card off. I'm to the thought of paying $150 a month on the card.
Okay.
And using out of that 11, you have 2 credit cards. Pay $150 per month. It keeps revolving it. It keeps showing it paid. It keeps showing it paid. Using that of that $1,100, let's put something on the other credit card. So that way, the other credit card is a low balance. I think it's only like $40, $50 minimal payment. So I'm thinking, well, send him $100 and send this guy $150. So I'm out of $250, right, per month versus I've taken $1,100 and I'm financially empty, Okay. So I'm trying to stretch because I want to continue to show because that helps my credit. Am I understanding it correctly? Every month shows a plus, even though my ratio is high, right? My DTI is high, but my credit score is a low 550. This is the challenge that they're facing. The credit score is a low 550. So do I go pay it off or do I stretch my money? I'm already a 550 credit score. So it's going to be a work before I can even get for my score to read. So it's a question.
I guess to answer that question, if you don't have the money to pay that $1,100, you don't have it.
Yeah.
But if we're looking and our goal is next June to buy a home, to buy a car.
Next October,
yeah. Then we slowly put a plan together to take an extra $100 and pay that car down.
Yeah.
Because their credit scores are only important. They're only important. I know people look at them every day. They're only important the day the lender pulls your credit.
Yeah.
On that day, let's have our credit in the best possible spot. Let's have our credit cards paid off. And that's it. I didn't say pay off installment loans or pay anything else off. We need those loans are just fine on your credit report. Pay credit cards as low as possible on that day.
Yeah. Okay. See, everybody? We got it from the expert, Magic Mike, talking about your credit and how we can prepare for the plan book of 2025. Now, again, we're tying this into real estate because I want to see you in 2025. Maybe you can't afford a house, but you can afford a condo. I mean, you live in an apartment. Maybe you can afford a townhome based on your debt to income ratio. But if you start dealing with it now, let's figure out a plan how we can get our debt down, get our scores up. And so if that means this Christmas we need to sack, well, my babies just don't know. You know what? Putting up a tree might be a dangerous thing because kids just love to see presents. So can I wrap boxes that have nothing in them? Maybe put a brick in it or something? Or
I can't even answer to that. So,
I mean, since you got to have,
I'm gonna bring a present over to that house.
yeah. I mean, no doubt we can listen. We're doing a toy drive December 21st. And if you want more information, contact me 702-349-0162. Deville Realty, in conjunction with For All Families, doing a toy drive on December 21st.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
So I've talked about budget in the past.
Yeah.
This is how I believe in budget, right? So obviously you want to get your budget, you want to make sure your bills are paid, but there's a little thing in there I call, you put fun money. You have to have fun. So we can't go through life with always just budgeting and saving for this, putting for this and that. There has to be a little fun money because we do work hard. The mom that gets up every day in the same routine, she should have a little fun money. So everyone should make sure there's a little fun money in that budget because we want to live
That's it.
I do want to throw out we do have other savvy customers out there.
Okay.
There are ways to hide credit card debt. So the few people, or maybe there's probably more than we even think, that have the side hustle.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we have an LLC set up. That LLC can be set up for that side hustle, and we can get what's called just corporate credit. Corporate credit is just now a secondary credit card that doesn't report to the credit bureaus. It's a good place to put credit card debt that doesn't affect your personal credit history.
Okay. So give that plan again. We should do what?
I'm going to say this again. So maybe you have a business. Okay. Maybe you have a business idea.
Yeah.
And we're going to maybe start a business. We can create an LLC.
Okay.
We get an EIN number, and we can get credit cards attached to that business. And those credit cards, they could be maxed out every day of the year, and no one ever sees it. Doesn't affect your personal history.
So now, do I have to apply under my credit? To get those credit card, do I have to be the guarantor?
You're going to be the guarantor.
Okay.
You're going to be the guarantor. So your credit's got to be a 640 or higher.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But just a different plan and different plan.
Yeah. Multi-stream income. Create that LLC, but remember, when creating an LLC, you got to get the Nevada state license. So you want to do a DBA, make sure that name's not already taken, right? And you get the Nevada license in whatever city. If you're Northtown City, get the business license, the LLC. Absolutely. I think I got 5 businesses, right?
You got 5 different ways of hiding money.
Yeah, right. So, again, these are things that we want to discuss with you to go into 2025. You've got somebody's cooking on the weekends. I have a friend of mine. He started a barbecue business. He had bought one of these mobile, food trucks.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, this guy, it allowed him to retire. He's doing very, very well with his smoke shop, mobile. And so different weekends, he's different locations, throughout the week. Again, another friend started a mobile detail business. He says, whenever it's raining, that's your day off, huh? He says, yeah, if it rains 2 days, I got 2 days off. But as soon as the rain leaves, in fact, he welcomes the rain. Say, we don't get enough of it, right? Because cars are, barely dirty here in Vegas, just dust. But when the rain comes, you get the oil, the sleek, the mud, everything, right?
You get dirt.
And you get the dirt. But to start these businesses, credit, again, the valuableness of having credit. Now, I want to go back to this when we talk about how the process, what does it cost, Mike, to start a service? I know the consultation is free. What is to start up? People are going to ask, what does it look like to start?
So this is our process. I'd like to do it in person, but obviously nowadays anything can be done right online. We can do by Zoom, we can do by a phone call. But I'm going to do a soft pull of all 3 credit reports. I'm going to review them for anything and everything we can get removed. So we're going to look at every variation of names, addresses, maybe socials or multiple socials that are maybe on there. Those have to be removed. Those are automatic declines for customers. And then we'll go into any collections, any charge-offs, anything reported late. And obviously, we're going to fight and try to update these to a positive status. We do 2 rounds. That takes 90 days right there.
Okay.
And then we stop. Then we become, which I was talking about earlier, we're then also a debt relief company. We'll then go after volume, items that are reporting and aren't going to come off by using credit laws. We'll talk about doing settlements on these accounts and paying for deletions. And then the last thing I do is I add credit to files. I can add large accounts to your credit file to boost your score when we're done. Like or we could boost you in the beginning, I guess, if we wanted to. But I like a clean credit file, and then we can boost scores. So if you like everything that we say, and we go over our timelines, what we do every 30 days, it's $159 to start, and then we're $89 a month while you use our services. Every person's different, but normal would probably be 4 to 6 months is how long you are with me.
Okay. And you're going to boost the scores, so scores are going up. Things are starting to look better. And so you mentioned 90 days, right? 90 days. Well, so if we start now, that means it puts us around February.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why we want to do the show now, so we can get a head start. Or like many of you procrastinate, say, I'm going to do it in the new year. I have people call me and say, oh, Deville, I'm going to buy a house in the new year. I'm like, yeah, that's a couple months away. Why not start now? Why not look into now how to get on the right track? So February, right before taxes.
Yeah, you know what? First thing, we should know what's on our credit. I'm going to tell you today. There's plenty of places. Credit Karma offers a free site. You know, people may badmouth the scores. Well, you know what? The credit's just fine. Go on the Credit Karma. That gets you your TransUnion and Equifax. Go to Experian. Experian has a free product. See what's on your Experian report. Look at any issues, any variations that could be fixed. Make sure there's no fraud going on your credit report.
Yeah.
I mean, if there is, you want to jump on this right away. I mean, there are some things that can be done quickly, but it's better to have this piece of paper that says I'm pre-approved for 400, 500 grand, and you can walk with your chest out and you get to buy the house you want. I always talk about it's like walking into a dealership. Anybody walk into a dealership, walk in, I'm going to get that purple Charger right there. I'm looking up through the window, and that dealer goes, "Sir, let me show you this white Toyota Tercel right here. It only has 200,000 miles." So it's known that you can buy what you want to buy, not what someone else is going to tell you what you have to buy.
Absolutely,
that's the difference,
and that's valuable. Because you think if you work as long and as hard as you do, that you want to get what you want and not go sit in 5 hours to buy a car. But we don't want to talk about buying cars, but we want to talk about, because here's the problem. If you buy the car now, you won't buy a home until December next year. So we don't want to put the horse before the cart, or the cart before the horse and going to get a car. So Mike has just given an example. Don't buy a car.
No. Let me tell you why. Here. Let me tell you why. That's an example of being. This is why you don't buy a car. Okay, it takes away from your debt ratios, which Greg going to. We always want to focus on the prize. The prize is the home. You have to. You got to skip the car. That's a $1,200 payment nobody wants. You get the house first. It's easy to go to the car dealership. They'll lie for you.
And then
that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and then once you get the car, you'll start getting all these credit cards in the mail. You start getting all these Home Depot approvals. Like, you approved to buy a home, then you're good. But then be careful, don't get into debt, because you'd be like that bumper sticker I saw sitting at a red light. It said, I owe, so off to work I go. And they're sitting at a red light, off to work. So that's the danger of getting good credit. It's not, you mean I can have it right now? That poses a problem in many people who don't have control or discipline, because having good credit is a discipline. It means going somewhere and seeing you can buy that, but you don't buy it. That's discipline, Mike.
Here, I know the difference. I'm okay driving a 15-year-old car that's paid for.
Yeah.
And a house I own free and clear. And my next door neighbor may have a Range Rover, but he's renting that house.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
I say if you got a Land Rover and a landlord, you need to call Greg Deville. Did you hear me, audience? If you have a Land Rover and a landlord, you need to call Greg Deville, 702-349-0162. There's a problem. If you've got a Charger, you mentioned a Charger earlier, and you're parking it under a carport at an apartment building, you need to call Deville, because there's something wrong with the way this looks. You shouldn't have a Jaguar, Mercedes-Benz sitting in an apartment building.
No.
Not at all. Something's wrong with that picture. So what do? We talk to Magic Mike. We get our credit back on track. Let's start now. Magic Mike just said it may take you 90 days, right? Minimal. May take 90.
Minimal.
Now, but sometimes, because I have a person who purchased a home, Mike, in 30 days. There was a few things they were able to take off and pay off, and they were in a house in 30 days.
So obviously, every single person, there's a different scenario. I mean, we could have one or two things. Things can be done in a couple days.
Yeah.
I can add credit in 5 or 6 days. But for the majority of people, and I have to speak to the majority, let's say it takes 4 or 5 months. You can come into the office. We can discuss many other tactics. There's lots of, and obviously I want to match your goals.
Right.
And once we get a feel for each other, we can talk about, I mean, certain things to be done pretty quick.
Okay.
But overall, as we talk to the majority, let's make sure give ourselves each a little bit of time. Gives you time to save up money.
Yeah.
Gives me time to do our job, and everything just gets done right for you.
So if your birthday is going to be around February, March, April, anytime after February, you need to start now. So you can have for your birthday, right? Because I wanted to say something else, but I'm refraining from saying that. But worrying about the kids and say, I got a present that you all are going to love. The present is a home. Because one of the greatest joys I take in selling homes, Mike, is when the kids come and see the home that I gave the keys to the parents to. And they're running saying, this is my room. No, this is my room. And they get in the backyard and say, this is all our yard? Man, it's amazing. Because they're so used to being crammed in a 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. And it's all, I gave a family home, and they were first time in 3 generations anyone ever owned a home in their family.
Wow.
First time in 3 generations. Means her grandmother's mother didn't own a house. Her mom didn't own a house. And now she had a tear in her eye to say, Mr. Deville, thank you. Because I broke the curse that seemed to have been over my family for so long. So when she initially went to purchase, she didn't qualify for the grant program. And so the lender says, well, Miss So-and-so just didn't qualify. And so I got on the phone with her to give her the bad news. I said, but by the way, do you have a 401k on your job? She says, I do. I says, then you can utilize the 401 without penalty. And that woman purchased a home with a 580, 590 credit score. Using her 401k, the lender was able to circle back and get her pre-approved. So those of you who have a 401k, don't sleep on that money. Don't sleep on what's available to you. Take opportunity now. If credit, and and that's the other thing, Mike, I got to say, is people say, well, I don't know what my credit is. You know how your credit is. You know how bad it is. You know how many people you owe and who you haven't paid. When the last time you made a payment. So let's be honest with ourselves. Let's go into the new year. Let's start now. I got Wes Wiley says, I'm already working with Mike. Mike said, I already know Mike. Mike is already, and that's great. That's great because people are admitting, look, I'm already on track.
Wes.
Yeah, I'm already on track, which is good because over the years, we've sent many to Mike to get them where they need to be. Guess what? You come back, you're ready to move forward. And like Wes, many of us have had to go. I had to go that route.
Here, you know what I liked hearing as I'm listening to you? Man, if someone tells you no, man, don't stop.
Yeah.
Keep trying. I like that you go, well, I got another idea.
Yeah.
It's good to have another idea. You know what? Talk to your partner. I see people that are using, I see 2, 3, 4 people on application.
Yeah.
So we know it's got expensive out there. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we may have to find a few other people maybe to help with this right now, to help with our goals. So I'm your credit guy. I'll help you with that goal for sure.
There you go.
Sounds like you go. Greg's got the avenues for everything else.
Well, so I do have veterans. Before we close out the show, we want to let you know we can go as low as a 560 with a veteran. Many times I'm getting phone calls where they want to get on the loan with the fiance. And I talked to the lender. He says, well, the only way you can get on a loan, this recently happened, the only way you can get on a loan with a veteran is you got to be married. He said, that's all we have to do? So I think there's some wedding bills coming pretty soon because you can't. So you have someone that you just got to be married and you can use the VA with your credit because they got approved under the VA for him. But it just wasn't enough for the space they're looking for. And they've been together for years. Right? And find out we just got to give. And she looked at him and says, well, I mean, we've been together 30 years.
That's a great story.
I'd be willing to marry you if you're willing to marry me. We can get the house we really want, right? I mean, they're both of age, but, you can go down to the justice of the peace. You live together anyway. Been living together over 20 years. So at this point, but to use your VA benefits, veterans, with all due respect, appreciate your service. Take advantage of your DD-214. If you've purchased a home in the past, you lost it, deed in lieu, foreclosure. It's been longer than 3 years. You can use your DD-2. You can reinstate it. People think because they lost a home under their VA, they can't use it again. You're eligible. Just let's requalify, right? Even though and sometimes you could use the balance left over. Let's say right now VA is $700,000. Well, you lost the home at $200,000. You got $500 in the pot. So let's use the money that's there allocated to help you, that the VA is going to back, but it is going to be predicated on your debt to income ratio. So you want to work on getting those numbers paid down. All right. So again, Mike, thank you, man, for coming in.
Oh, I want to leave with one last thing.
Come on. Yes, absolutely.
I want to say this, right?
Yeah.
So I never sidelining, wait for homes to go down, waiting for rates to drop.
Yeah.
You got to stop. We got to always be in this market, always getting ready, being prepared. Mm-hmm. Keep that credit. You got to keep an eye on it. Keep it up for when timing is going to happen. Timing is getting ready to happen. Mm-hmm. And I can promise you one thing. So let's say homes don't go down and rates stay the same. Mm-hmm. You know what doesn't ever go down? That's your rent. The only thing that's happening right now, rents keep going up. So I guarantee you what's not going to happen, rent's not going down.
That's for sure.
Get into this market.
And they're not giving you a gift card when you've been there 5 years. They don't say, here's a turkey gift card for dinner. They don't give you a thank you, goodbye.
No, you know what happens?
Yeah.
You're shaking hands with your new landlord because they've already sold the place twice in the last 5 years.
Wow. I saw a lady.
We've all seen that happen.
Pay the house off. And when she had to leave, she only qualified to purchase an apartment. She was an older lady. For years, lived in this house, paid it off twice. And so, with that being said, we want to thank everyone tuning in. Reach out. Let's talk more about it. Let's get you set up with Mike. 702-349-0162. Let's talk more about the endless possibilities of homeownership for 2025. Let's start now. We're in the fourth quarter, everybody. And there's some of you who don't need a lot of credit. There might be a couple things. Work out a payment plan, get it paid, get that receipt, send it to the TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, delete it, scores go up. Could be very simple. So don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't say you don't qualify. Let's talk to Mike. Let's see where we are. And let's entertain 2025. Guess what? With homeownership. All right? Las Vegas is always great to be here on a Wednesday at 12 o'clock. Every Wednesday at 12 o'clock. We're here. We're talking wealth through equity. We're a plan for having wealthy lifestyles. So again, I'm Greg Deville, the Wealth Builder. I want to thank you for tuning in. So excited to be here. And again, Mike has shown up today, has given us great information. Don't sleep on this information. Don't say, I'm going to wait till the new year. He said it may take a minimum 90 days. So if you start now, by February, you get your taxes and a house. So yeah, that tax funds can be used towards, guess what? Down payment funds. So if you use my no money down program, my interest rates are a little higher. But if you bring your own money down, you get a better rate. So act now. We want to hear from you real soon. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Have a great week. And until I talk to you next time, may God's best be yours.
Jones, hey, Greg Deville was at it, man. Hey, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help. You want to be a broker, you want to be broke. You want to be the joker, you want to be the joker. You got to bring more to the table than your hope, dreams, and wishing. I can feed you fish or I can take you out fishing. I can show you the vision, addition and division, mathematic equation. Make the money flip like an acrobatic, amazing. Greg Deville help you build the foundation. I'm saying, if you want the real, holla at Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. If you want the real, listen to Greg Deville. He'll tell you how to do it. Now get to it. I'm talking real estate, building wealth, making money for your family and yourself. Now tune in. We here to help. Now tune in. We here to help.